All right, my friends. Today's video is about the dreaded, should I say it, view range. View range is a little bit confusing, and I'll try to dispel some of the reasons why it's confusing. It was never meant to be confusing. It was meant to give you a range, and you see inside that range. Anything above that range is off, and anything below that range is dashed or a lighter line or some other indication. It was supposed to be easy, but they threw in some funkiness, and you know how Autodesk does that. And I'll just explain what's going on with that. So here we go. Let me share my screen, and we will go and talk about view range. All right, so here we are. Okay, let's just take a look at the how view range works in Revit. And I've just, for those of you that already know about view range, move on to some other video. But this is for those who are wondering why some things show up and some things don't, and why some things show cut through and some things don't in view range settings. Okay, so here we go. I am going to turn on my plan, first floor, and I'll go to my second floor because that seems a little easier for me. Actually, that's not easier. I'm going to go to a section. So here's a section through our building, okay? And with this section, I'll just try to talk about view range a little bit. Okay. Now, when you're on a floor, let's go to the second floor plan. And when I'm on the plan, I will click on, I can come down here in my properties, and I can click on view range. And what pops up is this little dialog box that has four things going on, okay? And I'm gonna show you what those four things are in our section, but just a sec. There's a top, okay? That's kind of like where you are looking downward in this one, not for reflective ceiling plans. We're talking about view range for plan work, okay? Top is where your eyes are. You're looking down. So in this case, I'm at 8 feet. The building is cut wide open, sliced open at 4 feet. And everything above that is completely invisible. And you're looking down on it, okay? The bottom of what you can see is in the whole thing cuts off is this one, bottom. And that's at 0 on the same floor that I'm on. So I can see from my eyes all the way to the floor, but I can only actually see objects from the cut line down to the bottom, okay? And then they threw in this guy, view depth, which is things beyond, things further. If you really needed to see things further. They complicated things when they did that, but they did it for a reason. It was so that you could see pipes under the building, or maybe you could see foundations underneath the dirt. But with these four intact, I'm going to go now and show you in my section where those are. So let's just go, okay? So here's my little section. I'm going to hit detail line, and let's see what kind, red line. I got a big red line. Okay. I'm going to just toss these lines in, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So they said there were 4 lines, right? So let me just work with me here. This one is should we start with that one? No. Okay, this is the bottom, not the bottom. This is the view depth, and it was set on the next floor below, okay? So I'm just going to align it down here to the next floor below, okay? And I'm going to put some text on here that says view depth, okay? So that's view depth all the way down. But then well, let me just do it. The top one, I'm going to put a dimension on there. The top one was at 8 feet. So I'm going to fix that to 8 feet. There. That top line is set 8 feet above the second floor. And I'm going to put some text on it. And I'll just write it right there on it. Top, okay? Because that's what they called it. There's cut. And I'm going to dimension that, and I'm going to put that line exactly 4 feet off the floor, and I'm going to put some text on that guy called cut, okay? And this one, I'm going to align it with the floor because that's bottom. So I could have put these in the right place the first time, but I want you to see where they are now. I moved them to where they belong. Okay, so this up here with the top is where your eyes are, and you're just looking down, and you can see, and I'm going to put the little box. Okay, do you see this little box right here? Okay, I need to get this thing over so I can see my line. Okay. Okay. Inside this box is what you're focused on. The building is cut wide open at this line, and everything it passes through, it shows cut. Like it cuts through walls and windows and doors and anything, columns, anything that passes through this line shows cut, okay? You're sitting, your eyes are here looking down, and you see everything that's cut through, and the only thing you can see too is down to the bottom line, except for if you've got view depth set, certain things that fall inside the view depth are allowed to be visible, but you get to set the line weight of what they are. The most use of this was when you're on the first floor and you had a pipe down underneath the building, or some kind of a vault that for your utilities to go through. You wanted to be able to see it. So some people would drop their view depth down like 8 feet under the ground, and these other objects down under there would show up, like pipes and that vault, or anything that you've got, like foundations will show up in that view depth. But let's just focus on this, okay? This is your cut. This is the bottom, as you're not supposed to see further. And so I'm going to go back to the second floor plan, and that's exactly what is going on here. 4 feet, this building is getting cut wide open, and I can see down to the floor, but I've got it set that anything that is in my view depth, which is all the way to the first floor, shows up dashed. Now, you can see what I'm talking about right here. I've got some furniture down there. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about a little bit further, okay? Let's talk about view depth before I talk about stuff above you, where things are not supposed to be visible. Things are not supposed to be visible in between the cut and the top. In fact, from the cut all the way up to the sky, it's not supposed to be visible. But some things are. And you're like, what? Why? I'll talk to you in a second, but let's talk about view depth down here below the bottom just for a minute before we go to things above the cut, okay? So let's go back to the plan. These pieces of furniture down here are down on the first floor. In fact, I'll go to the first floor. Down on the first floor. See them down here? Okay. So in fact, I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to go to architecture floor, okay? And let's see, I'm putting in a 6-inch concrete slab. This is just a quick slab for you guys, okay? Let's just say outside my building, I have a nice little patio going on down here. Beautiful little patio, okay? Love it. And finish that. So I've got a patio. People just love a patio. And maybe you can walk around and go to the patio, but this is for the employees to go hang out. Let me get down here to furniture. All right. Or a little rectangle table with some chairs. Okay, I'm going to put in some furniture right there, okay? And I'll put a little piece of furniture right there. And so I've got a piece of furniture sitting here, and I am going to go back up to my second floor. Now take a look. I can see the furniture perfectly fine, because it's in my view range. And go back to my section. But my slab is from this floor, first floor downward, so I can't see it I can't see the slab. So if I went to to this view range, let me just turn it on. Okay, let me go over here. I'm going to go to the view range, and I'm going to go look at it. Where's the view range? Turn it on, Mike. There's my view range. If I set the depth to the first, down all the way to the first floor, even minus 1 more inch, just a little bit further, okay? Then I'll be able to see the slab down there because it was from 0 down. So now I can start seeing things that are down below, but they're going to show dashed. I'm going to tell you why they're dashed. You get to set what that line weight is, what these line weights show up. And I set it to dashed and gray, but you can set it to whatever you want. I'm going to show you how to do that. If you want this to be any certain line weight like I did, like gray and dashed, you can go to Manage and you can go to Additional Settings, and it is a line style named Beyond, okay? So no matter what line styles you have, come down here to the ones that are locked in. You can't delete them in Revit. The ones that have brackets around them. See these little carrots, these brackets around them? Here it is, Beyond. It is set as a number 2, gray, and dash 1/16 on mine, okay? You can set it to whatever you want, but whatever you set that to, that Beyond, that's what line weight's going to show up here for the objects that fall down below in your, wait for it, your view depth, okay? Things that are below bottom and in the view depth. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about things that are inside, right here, inside from the cut down to the bottom. Okay. There are some objects, friends, that won't cut. They won't cut. And I'm serious. Walls cut. Windows cut. Doors cut. Many things. Columns cut. Many things cut. But let me just tell you right now, furniture won't cut, even if it crosses the cut line. So let me just show you a quick example. This is the best example I can show you. You see this guy right here? This is a piece of furniture. And if I go to the second floor plan, it's sitting right here, just on the floor, okay? So it is not reaching up high enough to get to the cut line. So it shows just a top-down view. You guys with me? That makes sense. So does this table and this chair. They are below the cut line. They won't show cut. But this guy right here, what if he was taller? What if it passed through the cut line? Well, let's go to the properties and make it taller. I'm going to pick that one. I'm going to say Edit Type. And my face is always in the way when I'm working. Okay, here's the height. It's 3 foot high. I'm going to make that thing 7 foot tall. Anybody have a problem with that? Anybody got a problem with that? 7 foot tall, and I say apply. Now look, can you guys see that that thing goes through, up, past, through my cut plane, right? It should cut. So all we got to do is go back to the second floor plan, and it's still showing the top view. See, furniture won't, specialty items won't cut. If you put them through the cut plane, they won't cut. Generic objects will cut. So if you absolutely need something to show cut, a piece of furniture, you're either going to have to fake it with lines or change it into a generic model. So I'm just going to show you right now how I would do that. If for some reason I needed this piece of furniture to show cut, it was imperative. It won't naturally out of the box. So, but I can pick it and I can say Edit Family. And the category that this thing is set. Let me swing it around so you can see it. See that bookshelf? That's a gorgeous bookshelf. The category is up here in the top left. It's this little icon that has a folder on it, a yellow folder. When you click that, it clearly shows that it's a piece of furniture. But if this thing was a generic model, and I'm going to say, okay. So I just set it as a generic model, and that's perfectly fine. And then I'm going to load it back into my project and close it. It asks me if I want to save this into my hard drive forever, permanently as a not furniture, but as a generic model. And I'd say no, just put it in the project because right now it needs to be cut. And I'm going to overwrite. Look at this. All I have to do is hit this top one, overwrite the existing version. Now, what it's going to do, it's going to swap that guy out for a, let me see if it's still 7 feet tall. 7 feet tall. And okay, how come it's not cutting through? Oh, I know why. It is cutting through. But it's cutting through exactly on a shelf. Unbelievable. And so you can't see the cut. So what I'm going to do is make this a little bit shorter and the shelves will adjust. I know it's just weird. I'm going to make it like 6 foot tall. Okay. Okay. Apply. And then it'll show cut. Sorry about that. That was a coincidence I didn't expect. It was cutting exactly through one of the shelves, and so it didn't appear to be cut. But now you can see this is clearly cutting through. And if I go to my section of my building, see it was cutting, when this was 7 foot tall, it was cutting right through one of those shelves right there. And so you couldn't even tell that it was cutting. That's funny. Okay. So you can see now that generic objects actually do respond to the cut line, but not furniture and not, I'm telling you, specialty equipment won't either. Now, just saying so that you know a little bit more about this. Now let's go back to this section. Let's talk about things that fall up here above the cut. How come some objects disappear when they go above the cut and other objects still appear? Blows your mind, but it's true. I've got it written down right here. I'm just going to tell you. Here are the objects that still show up even though they're above the cut, and everything's supposed to be invisible above the cut. But these objects won't. Windows. If they are in between top and cut, they will still show up. If they get above top, they disappear. Okay. Casework. If you've got a piece of casework in between cut and top, it still will show up. Okay. Generic models on the wall that are in between the cut and top, if they're still in here, they will still show up. But if they get above top, they disappear completely. And I will just show you a quick example of what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to come down here and get a light fixture. A round light fixture. Okay, this is just a light fixture. I'm just going to stick it on the wall, okay? I'm going to place it right there on the, okay, I'm going to place it on the wall below the cut plane. I know that's a pretty dumb thing to put on the wall. It's a big round thing. I usually put it on the ceilings, but I'm just going to stick it on the wall for now. This thing, it's below the cut. We should be able to see this in our section. Okay. If we, let's go, in our plan. So let's go to the plan. Okay, there it is. Friends, it's hard to see if I didn't zoom in on it, but there she is. And I'm going to go to my section and there it is. See, it's highlighted and in plan, there it is. Okay. It is obvious we're going to see it because it's below the cut. But let's scoot it on up and get that thing. Wait, what is it? It is a lighting fixture. Did I mention lighting fixtures in my list earlier when I said windows, casework, and generic objects? No, I didn't mention lighting fixtures. So let's see what happens when this gets above the cut. Okay, so here she is. I'm going to use my up arrows. Ding, 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 ding. Just so happens that I am directly in the middle of it. So what should be happening? Will this lighting fixture show cut when it is clearly being cut by this thing? Let's go check in the plan view. Ding. No. Lighting fixtures don't show cut. Furniture won't show cut when it is clearly crossing the cut line. I'm telling you, if I go and make this into a generic object, it will show cut. Believe me, okay? I don't want you to do it and bore you guys, but let me just keep moving it up the wall and see what happens. Okay, we're gonna move it up the wall. Ding, ding, ding. And now it's on the wall above the cut line. So now we're gonna go back to plan and it's gone. It's gone. It disappears when it is above the cut line. That makes sense, right? But if it is a generic model, or if it is a piece of casework, or if it is a window, it won't disappear. So let's put one of those kind of things on here. In fact, let's scoot it back down and make it into a generic object to make it legit. Or wait, should I? Let me just show you do something else. Let me put a wall cabinet on here, because wall cabinets are supposed to be on the wall. So I'm going to hit delete. Okay, our light fixture's gone. Okay, wait for it. I'm going to get let me just come over here to my cabinets. I need a wall cabinet base, wall cabinet, 2 door, 1 door. Let's go with a 2 foot wide 2 door. Okay, I'm drag it over. And it won't let me place it when I'm in the section. So I'm going to go to the plan view. Okay, here she is. Okay. I'm putting this 2 foot, there it is. I just put a big 2 foot cabinet on the wall. Okay. And I'm going to put it, let's say I mount it at 5 feet up. Okay. So here we go. Let's go to our section and just look at it. Isn't that beautiful? There's our cabinet. Okay. I want that cabinet to come on down. I'm going to bring it down. I'm just going to scooch it down so that I'm cutting right through it. And this is probably a bad example because I have told this thing to be completely invisible. Well, let me just show you my example. Here it is above. It is a piece of casework. It should show up when it is above the cut plane. Plan view? Yes. Now I've got it showing. Okay, let me just explain. I've told the actual geometry to be invisible because I don't want it blocking my base cabinets. It's a wall cabinet anyway, you know. And I've told the actual geometry to be invisible. And I've talked about this in symbolic lines video that you can go watch. And I replaced the actual cabinet with just symbolic lines so that I can see where it is, but the whole cabinet doesn't show up. So this is what it represents itself, but it's turning on when it is even above the cut. Do you guys see that? But let's go and move it higher. There, I'm going to pick it. I'm going to move it up higher. Look, it's all the way up to top, but still crossing top. So when I go to my plan, sure enough, it's still there. You guys with me? But watch what happens. As soon as that gets above, there it is. It's above the top. It's gone. It goes out of the plan. So this is one of the things that will show up. Remember I said windows, casework, and generic models will show up in your plans, even though they're above the cut plane, but generic models won't. Okay. But I need to show you one last thing. Let me, what I wanted to do, let me put that light fixture back. Let me just go get that light fixture back. Light fixture, come here. Oh, you have to go under lighting fixtures to get it. No duh, Mike. Okay, I'm gonna put that lighting fixture back on the wall, okay? This is a lighting fixture, so it's not gonna be visible above the cut, right? You guys see it? It's not there. So I'm gonna move it down. So it should be cut through, but it's not. It's only showing the top of it. So if I were to for some reason, this must be cut. I'm going to edit family, okay? And I'm going to go to, oh, you can't see it. There it is. I'm going to go to the little folder. I'm going to switch it from being a light fixture to a generic model, okay? I'm going to load it back into the project. Not going to save it because this is just for an example, and overwrite the old one. This is going to show cut. See that guy? I'm cutting through this object now, okay? This is how I made it. It's actually cut through. And now when I move it up, go back to my plan, okay? It's getting smaller because you're only cutting through a little bit. I'm going to move it up so I'm barely cutting through it. And look, it's only a tiny bit showing because I'm actually cutting through it. But as soon as it gets above It's generic model now. As soon as it gets above the cut line, it's gone. What? No, this is a generic model. It will be visible above. It's not going to be cut through, but it's going to be visible. Remember, generic models are visible above the cut line, but what it does is it shows you a top-down view of it. And it's going to stay visible for us, not cut, but visible until it gets past top. So watch. I'm going to move it up. Even if it goes partially through top, it's going to be there. But when it clears top, Windows, generic models, and casework, once they clear top, it's about to go. Look, it's still touching. So it's still in the plan view, fully in the plan view, even though it's partially cutting top. As soon as it goes through, now it's gone. When I go back to plan, it's gone. Okay. It's crazy, guys. So I hope that helps you guys to know why things disappear. Sometimes things show the top view, even though they're above the cut plane, and why they're even visible above the cut plane. It's because Revit has got these things in there. They think they're helping you. They think that these are going to be reasonable items for you to have show up, even though they're above the cut plane. Okay. And once things get above the top, they are gone. Okay, they're gone. So you'll mostly see stuff between the cut and the bottom, and things below the bottom, from bottom down to view depth. Anything inside there will show up in the line weight that you set as beyond. All right. Well, I really, really hope that helps you guys. I mean, it's crazy, I know, but I hope that dispels some of the craziness that comes with view depth and that you don't have any issues. If your project is having crazy view depth issues, then talk to me, okay? Just put some comments in the comments below and we'll go from there. Oh, almost forgot. Stairs will show all the way down solidly, even though they're in the view depth below. They won't go dashed and gray because Revit knows that they need to show even as they go beyond and down to the next level below. Stairs, I forgot to mention it, but stairs and railings will show up nice and solid, even though they go beyond the bottom and they go down into that view range. All right. With that, I will say adieu. You guys have a great evening. And until we meet again, happy Reviting. Bye-bye.